Have you ever wondered if there's an Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie out there that you can't quite tell if it's meant to be a parody or taken seriously or somewhere in between, but not like, say, Last Action Hero, which is clearly a parody? Well, you're in luck, in case you've never heard of this movie before. We're going to talk about Commando. This is the Geek Cabal channel. If you've not been here before, my name is Bobbie, and today we're going to be talking about the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from the 80s, Commando. Now, if you've watched the channel much, you've probably heard me or Jim or both of us talk about this movie, mentioning it in a satirical fashion, because it's not overly clear if this movie was meant to be serious or satire. Now, I mean, I saw this movie back in the 80s. Probably shouldn't if it's quite violent. But, yeah, this movie, like, this was, you know, kind of farther along in Arnold's career. This was post-Terminator, post-Conan. And, so, like, he had definitely kind of established himself, you know, as the big action star. But this movie just has lots and lots of puns and comments and whatnot as he just mows down legions of guys, like, towards the end of the movie. Like up until about the last third of the movie, you know, it's a guy here, a guy there, and, you know, trying to get through. But the last third of the movie, I think he probably takes out 200 people. Like, I was seriously contemplating rewatching it, because I rewatched it recently, but going back and rewatching it to actually keep a body count. And if I ever do in the near future rewatch it, I'll put it down in the comments what count I came up with. So, who's in this masterpiece? Well, obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, if you somehow got to this point in the video and don't know who that is, he is the star of the two Conan movies from the 80s, not to be confused with Jason Momoa, who's the star of the other Conan movie. He is the Terminator in all 6 Terminator movies, although I should note that in Terminator Salvation, that's a CGI job. That's not actually him there. And that's probably kind of obvious if you watch it. It was a decent CGI job, but it's definitely not him. Then, yeah, and he's been, you know, all kinds of other movies. He's in Total Recall, the original adaptation, not the one with Colin Farrell. He's in well, this movie, obviously, but also Raw Deal's another action movie from the 80s that he's in. I rewatched it recently, so there'll probably be a video on it here in the near future too. Then he was in Last Action Hero, where he's basically playing a parody of himself. I'll do a thing on that movie sometime to explain what I mean by that. Then you kind of fast forward a bit. He was in End of Days, The Sixth Day. He was Mr. Freeze in Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. Since I'm probably not going to do a separate video on that, I just want to comment here. I still feel that Arnold is probably the near perfect person to play Mr. Freeze. He just needed to play him like the Terminator, not like, say, his character in Twins or Kindergarten Cop. 2 movies I totally forgot. He is in some comedies also, like Twins and Kindergarten Cop. Yeah, so he's in and Jingle All the Way that we've mentioned several times, and he's got a very long list of movies, and he was also governor of California for a while. So he's obviously our headlining star. Then as his kind of sidekick that he picks up in the movie, we have Rae-Dawn Chong, who I think is mainly known for being Tommy Chong's daughter. I mean, she's in a lot of things. I noticed Tales from the Dark Side and The Color Purple kind of jumped out. A lot of that stuff seemed to be lesser stuff that I personally haven't seen. There was 1 or 2 that I saw her name, but I do not know who she plays in those movies. So then we have Dan Hedaya, who plays a general or presidente or something who's been taken out of power by the previous actions of Arnold's character, and now he has engineered this situation to draw Arnold in to kill the current president of whatever South American country, he's supposed, probably Central American country, for a reason I'll explain here in a second. That he's supposed to, go in and do that, and in exchange he'll get his daughter back, so he kidnapped his daughter. Now, Dan Hedaya, most of you, I think, will probably recognize him either from Alien Resurrection, where he is the general on board the ship who has commissioned Michael Wincott's character to grab the people that they plan on using as hosts for the Xenomorphs. Or he's the dad in Clueless. He's got some range. So, and he's in a lot of other things, but those are the two big ones that I know him from. Then we have Vernon Wells, who plays Bennett, who is the recipient of possibly the best line and most absurd scene in the entire movie that I'll get to here in a minute. I looked up his filmography, and I had no idea he played Wes in The Road Warrior. And in case you don't know who Wes is, because I didn't, I had to look up the picture to make sure. He is the guy on the scavenger side who has the giant mohawk and is very physical, very aggressive, and had a boyfriend as near as I can tell. And the boyfriend got killed by the boomerang from the wild child kid that's with the people inside the refinery. And the Lord Humongous had to kind of literally keep him on a leash at one point. So yeah, and he plays a very similar role in Weird Science, and he's in some other things, but those are the things I think most people here would probably recognize him from. Then we have James Olsen as General Kirby. He was in the Andromeda Strain. I did a video on that if you want to know about his character there. I'll try to link it in the description or up top or somewhere. But then we have David Patrick Kelly, who plays Sully. Sully also the recipient of some bad puns shortly before he's killed. Not a pun, just a comment. So Sully, or this David Patrick Kelly, probably best known as the enemy gang leader in The Warriors. He's the guy who shoots, I can't think of the main gang leader's name, at the very beginning of the movie once all the gangs come together. And he's the gang leader who's like, hey, we should all join up as one giant gang because we outnumber the police 10-1. He shoots him and then blames the Warriors, which sets the whole plot in motion. Warriors is an excellent movie, by the way. You guys should check that out. Shows you just how not great New York in the 70s was. But he's also in The Crow as, again, a gang leader of the gang that kills the main Shelley and Brandon Lee's character, whose name I can't think of off the top of my head. Eric Draven kills the two of them at the beginning of the movie. He's the one who gets blown up in his car. And then he's also in the movie Dreamscape, which I'll do a video on that sometime once I rewatch it. I rewatched it not too long ago. But I'll rewatch it again. He's like a psychic assassin, essentially. That movie's got some odd stuff going on in it. Dennis Quaid's in that. And some other folks. So yeah, then I think Christopher Plummer's in that now that I think about it. But yeah, then we also have Alyssa Milano, very young Alyssa Milano, as Jenny. That's Arnold's character. Arnold's character's name's Matrix, by the way. His daughter Jenny. Now, Alyssa Milano, you probably recognize that name, but just in case you don't, a contemporary thing she would have been at the time was Who's the Boss? But then she was also in the show Charmed for however many seasons it ran. And she's in some other things. And she's kind of active on Twitter. Or was, or is, or I don't know. Then we have Bill Duke as Cook. And I think the main thing other people would recognize him from would be Predator. But he's in a number of other things. He also produces a lot of stuff. And then we have Bill Paxton in a bit part as a radar operator. And again, in case you don't know who Bill Paxton is, he's one of the gang members at the very beginning of the Terminator. I believe, I think he's the one that Arnold rips his heart out of his chest. It's him or Brian Thompson. I don't remember which one. Then he's probably best known as Hicks in Hicks? No, Hudson in Aliens. Oh man, it's bad that I got those two confused. People in the movie get them confused too. Probably best known as that, or his main character in Twisters, and then he was also in Predator 2. So he's been killed by a Terminator, an alien, and a Predator. Not a tornado, he survived that one. And he was also in the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's been in a bunch of other things. Actually, he's also in Weird Science that I mentioned earlier. But yeah, he was in a bunch of things. I know of these actors, he's the one that I know for sure has passed away. He passed away a couple of years ago, and kind of a shame. Saw a thing about it. I mean, it's always a shame when someone passes away, but I mean, from what I saw from the kind of like behind the scenes of Aliens, like everyone said, he's a really great guy, which is very contrarian to a lot of the characters he played. But no, they said he was a pretty good guy. And, you know, by the way they're talking, you can tell. They're actors, so maybe they could have been acting, but I got the impression they were being genuine. So, now with our incredibly lengthy who all's in this thing, what's it about? Well, Arnold plays Matrix, who is a commando of some kind, hence the title. I don't remember if they actually said what he was. But anyway, his unit, people are killing the members of his unit. And they were all like, that was all just staged so that General Kirby would go to Arnold's character, because him and the rest of his unit, they're living, you know, they did things around the world. Now they've got different names and identities, so their enemies can't find them. Well, kill a couple of them, and General Kirby's going to go to Arnold, so then they just track General Kirby, and then they figure out where Arnold is. Because Dan Hedea's character has hired Bennett, who used to be one of his guys, and it looks like he gets killed at the beginning. And then they kidnap his daughter, and they're like, hey, so that country that Dan Hedea's from, you're going to go kill the president, and then we're going to put Dan Hedea back in charge, because he's paying us a lot of money. Except for Bennett. I think he said he was going to do it for free. Just to screw with Arnold, because he got ejected from his unit. So they kidnap his daughter, and then they get him, like, they make him realize, like, they've got her, and if you don't do what we say, we'll kill her, you know, all that. So the plan is they're going to put him on a plane with a guy from their group, and they are going to, they've got, I think it's 11 hours, 12 hours, that they're going to land in the other country. And once they get there, then their guys are going to take him, you know, to go do the thing. So Sully is supposed to watch him get on the plane, watch the plane take off, so he can verify that, yeah, he's on the plane. And I don't remember the name of the guy that went with him on the plane is. He's the first victim of Arnold's linguistic abilities. Arnold gave him the window seat, and once he makes sure that no one is, like, everyone's attention is focused elsewhere, he bashes the guy in the face to stun him, and then gets him in a headlock and snaps his neck. Puts him back in the seat. He'd already asked for a pillow and a blanket, and then he puts him on that guy and puts his hat over his face and tells the stewardess,
don't disturb my friend, he's dead tired.
There's going to be a lot of that. So then he goes to the bathroom. Well, actually he's going to go to the bathroom, but instead goes to the elevator that takes you to the lower part of the plane, and, like, gets into the landing gear so that he can jump off. Now, this is also the beginning of Arnold is basically indestructible in this movie. He waits till the plane is taking off, has left the ground, because after the end of the runway there's like some swampland, and then jumps, and I'm pretty sure the plane's over 100 feet in the air by the time he jumps. This should be a fatal fall. Not only is it not fatal, he just gets up like it's nothing. Like, I mean, it lands in the water, but, like, for those of you that don't know, like, that's not a one-for-all solution. Like, at a certain height, you may as well be hitting concrete. You know, yeah, the water gives, but, like, not enough. But yeah, so he just comes out of that like it's nothing, then starts tracking down Sully. And, and he had told him earlier, he's like,
you're a funny guy, Sully. I like you. That's why I'm going to kill you last.
And so, this is where he meets up with Ray Dawn Chong. Sully is trying to hit on her, and then Arnold, like, grabs her and forces her to drive him after Sully. And the whole time she's like, are you going to kill me? He's like, no. She's like, but why should I trust you? And he's like, well, I don't know. So he's not really helping his cause here. Then they go to the Galleria, which, unless I'm very much mistaken, is also where the first showdown with the T-1000 takes place in Terminator 2. You wouldn't know it just by looking at it, but I do believe that was also the Galleria. So it should also be the same parking garage, I believe, where the chase on the John Connor's on the motorbike, where a chase in this movie occurs. So she goes after, like, they see Sully going to a restaurant, and Arnold's like, okay, you need to go in there, get him, convince him to come over here. I'm going to do what I got to do. Your part in this will be over. And he hasn't really told her much of anything other than that they've got his daughter, and she thinks he's just making it up. So she tells a cop inside, they're like, hey, this crazy lunatic's like after me. And he checks it out. And it's like, all right. And so he calls some other guys over. And yeah, they think they're going to just body Arnold. Like, these are rent-a-cops at a shopping mall. Like, these guys stand no chance. And he just beats them down like it's nothing. But then Sully sees him. And Radon Chong sees that Sully sees him and recognizes him. And then Sully whips out a gun and starts shooting people. And then Sully goes into like a phone booth, which, for those of you that don't know, there used to be these things called pay phones, where you could walk up and put money in and make a phone call, and they would have a booth. Well, this is not your traditional like square phone booth that you might see in Superman the movie, where he would change from Clark Kent into Superman. This is more of a round tube. And Arnold just like tears it out of the wall and picks the whole thing up with Sully in it and throws it. And, you know, yeah, massive feats of strength. Then one of the guards is going to shoot at Arnold. Actually, I think it's a real cop at that point. And Radon Chong stops him because she sees how Sully reacted. So she knows that Sully is not on the up and up. And so she's kind of starting to think maybe Arnold wasn't lying about all this. So Sully goes and gets in his Porsche and takes off. Arnold gets in Radon Chong's car because he has the keys and takes off. She comes out the front of the mall, stops him, gets in the car, and is immediately questioning her own sanity. Like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't even know you. Like, nothing's going on. Like, can you at least tell me what's happening? He's like, no. Just keeps going. So it ends in a chase, I guess kind of up in the Hollywood Hills is where it'd have to be. And he's able to knock Sully's car on its side, and then gets Sully and picks him up by his ankle, takes him, is like dangling him over the hillside. And he like, Sully's like, I don't know anything. Cook knows everything.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last? I lied.
Thus ending Sully. So, unfortunately, Radon Chong's car got pretty beat up. So then he goes over to Sully's Porsche and just pulls it down so it's level again, and the two of them get in that and take off. Then they go find Cook, and they ambush him in the hotel. And before he can really tell him much of anything, because he decides he's going to play Karate Man. I think he said he's a Green Beret or something. And, you know, Arnold's like, I ate Green Berets for breakfast. So I guess he wasn't a Green Beret. And then, yeah, takes out Cook. And they find some stuff in Cook's car that is like a fuel slip or something for a plane. And Radon Chong works at the airport, is taking flying lessons, so she knows how to read it. And so then they go to an Army surplus store that Arnold knows has a bunch of like real military stuff in it. Take a bunch of it. He gets arrested. She busts him out. Then they take off in a plane for this country. For the island, for where Dan Hedaya is. And this was the part that I wasn't sure about, because I was trying to figure out where they were going. Because Dan Hedaya and everybody gets on a boat. Now, I am not in any way, shape, or form a naval navigational specialist. I don't know how long it takes to typically take a boat somewhere. But if the flight from LA is going to take 11 hours, I am relatively certain you are not going to get there on a boat in less time. So they definitely are going to some midway destination or something. They definitely weren't going to the country. And so Arnold and Radon Chong get there, and he starts loading up all of his gear and everything. And it's a scene that was mocked later on in one of the Hot Shots movies, where he's, got grenades and guns and a knife and everything else. And he's just got so much hardware on him that in the knockoff, I think it's Charlie Sheen, is all loaded up. No, maybe it's Emilio Estevez in Loaded Weapon Part 1. I don't know, it's one of the two. Then they just kind of fall over because all the stuff they've got on him. And Arnold looks kind of ridiculous, all this crap on him. Then he goes, starts planting a bunch of claymores near all these buildings. And, like, because the general has, like, an army there, basically. And then once he finally has to hit the button, he does. All kinds of buildings blow up. Who knows how many guys got killed right there. And thus begins the massive firefight where Arnold probably kills 150 dudes to 200 dudes. Is just gunning them down with reckless abandon, and like at one point runs out of bullets, has to hide in like a yard shed, and the guys open the door and he's throwing saw blades at him and pitchforks and axes and just going medieval on them. Then picks up some of their guns and goes back to shooting. He'll throw a grenade out in the middle of like an open field, and guys 20 feet away from it get blasted into the air, flying everywhere, and get killed. A grenade blows up like about a car length away from him. It cut his leg a little bit, and I think it got him in the side, so he's kind of limping a little bit into the garden shed. And then he's just fine for the final confrontation with Bennett. Oh, he kills Dan Hedaya in there somewhere too. But then he goes after Bennett, who has tracked his daughter into the steam tunnels underneath the mansion because she escaped. And Bennett has a gun, and Arnold convinces him to throw away the gun to fight him in a knife fight. Bennett is an idiot. So, it doesn't take very long for Arnold to gain the upper hand in the knife fight, even though he's wounded, because he's considerably larger than Bennett. And, yeah, it culminates in Arnold... Oh, I should mention, Bennett is wearing a chainmail shirt. That's important for what's about to happen. Arnold rips a steam pipe off the wall and throws it through Bennett, so that it pierces through his torso. It goes like halfway into him, like a good 3-4 feet sticking out the other end of him. So all of this, like, you know, bone, muscle, organs, plus the chainmail shirt, plus the regular shirt, plus the backside, just right through all that. And then into like the steam thing. So steam just comes pouring out, which is then where Arnold goes for the best line in the movie.
Oh, some steam, Bennett.
Yeah. So then, like, General Kirby shows up, and Arnold's like, so I'm really retired now. See you later. So him and Radon Chong and his daughter fly off into the sunrise, because it wasn't sunset yet. And, yeah. So overall, this is just a really ludicrous action movie. I mean, it's highly entertaining. Like, on an entertainment scale, this movie is like a solid 8, 8.5. As a movie, it's like a 6. It's not consistent. I mean, it is consistent in that Arnold is indestructible, but like that's not consistent with reality. So yeah, it's a sight to behold if you've never seen it. I would recommend you watch it if you like Arnold's other movies and have somehow never seen this one, or you just like over-the-top action movies. Like, this is like the progenitor of those kind of movies. So, yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. If you haven't ever seen it, if you have seen it, it's probably worth a watch again. But yeah, that's most of what I've got to say about Commando. So let me know what you folks think down in the comments. If you liked what you heard here, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting would help us grow the channel. We always appreciate it, especially subscribing. That's the name of the game here on YouTube. But yeah, that's all I've got to say from that. So just remember, if things get too hectic, just let off some steam.